No matter how good you get at chess, there's always gonna be an 11-year-old kid twice as good as you.
He's playing Mozart, one of his favorite composers, along with Bach and Chopin.
Well, Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura really felt that when he played against Tani Adewumi, who at the time was an 11-year-old chess prodigy. Now, Hikaru has played against a lot of kids in the past, but not too many of them pose a challenge. Well, this game was a lot different. Alright, so this game was played on chess.com a couple years back, and as you can see at the time, Tani's rating was only around 2100, while Hikaru was 3100. So the rating difference is very big, and the age difference is just massive, but you'll see how a child prodigy manages to take down even one of the greatest players in the world. So he opens with d4, and we get a London system, which I personally just hate. But, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do to be Hikaru. So, I don't play the London and I don't know any lines for it, but I'm assuming this is all theory. But Hikaru just castles, and this allows Tani to play knight e5 and just simply win a pawn after knight c5. I don't know what Hikaru overlooked or thought that he had, but yeah, this sequence just allowed him to pick up a free pawn. So that was probably the first thing that helped Tani win this game. And Hikaru goes queen g5, trying to start something on the king side with the open rook and the queen staring at these pawns. And also this makes it harder for this bishop to move, because if Tani tries to play something like bishop e2, then Hikaru is simply just going to take this pawn, and obviously that's not good. So Tani plays queen f3, trying to just solidify his position. But the engine really likes this h4 move. And honestly, this is a pretty nice move, because if Hikaru tries to play something like queen g6, for example, then Tani can simply play knight f4, attacking the queen again and activating this knight to a more active square. Tani missed that and played queen f3, which is a very natural move. Hikaru plays bishop f5, which gives back the advantage, and Tani offers a queen trade with queen f4. And you see what Tani's trying to do here. He wants to get these queens off because, first of all, putting the knight on f4 would be a great square. And secondly, if that happens, then Tani can simply play bishop e2 or bishop b5 and then castle, and he's just cleanly up a pawn and most likely going to win that endgame. So what Hikaru has to try to do here is keep the queens on and try to generate some counterplay while Tani's king is still in the middle and while his pieces are all aimed towards Tani's king side. But Hikaru does decide to go for the queen trade with h6, and I think there's this famous quote by Daniel Naroditsky that goes, "We can trade pieces, but on my terms." So Hikaru is offering this queen trade, but on his terms, because after Tani takes the queen on g5, then Hikaru will recapture with his pawn, and this is more favorable for him. Tani plays h4, trying to either force Hikaru to move the queen or accept this queen trade, and Hikaru decides to go to g6, keeping the pressure on g2 and not allowing Tani to develop his bishop anywhere. But this allows knight e5, and now Hikaru's position is just not looking too great. And without hesitation, Tani plays g4, trying to strike open Hikaru's king side, and he's just not scared at all to attack one of the greatest players in the world. Hikaru thinks he has this knight tactic of knight g4, because after knight takes, then he has rook e4, but what he missed was the brilliant move knight takes h6, because after g takes, then there's rook g1, and of course this child prodigy fully calculated this out and is fully confident in this sequence. So king h8, and Tani plays queen d6. So right now Tani has a piece for 2 pawns. That's what he got out of that sequence, and now Hikaru's king side is just completely open, and his queen and his rook are very dangerous. So Hikaru has to be careful here, and it's already very hard to play for him. So he goes back to e6, and Tani picks up another pawn, and then now he finally castles, bringing the last piece into the game. I mean, I guess this bishop is still kind of undeveloped, but now Hikaru has a battery on the d file, his open g file, and he's up 2 points in material, so it's looking very good for him. Hikaru tries to cover up his king a little bit with rook e8, but Tani just cleanly brings the pieces. Bishop b1 is a good try, trying to go for this mate on c2, but of course Tani sees this and stops that. And now the conversion is honestly pretty simple from here, because Hikaru is pinned to this corner of the board while Tani is just applying maximum pressure. Queen h6 comes in, and just nice move, picking up even more material, and still not trading the queens, not going for anything. Instead, he's going for this h5 pawn. Very good technique from the 11-year-old prodigy, and he just picks up the material, goes for this discovered attack pin and allows this rook g1 move. Maybe he shouldn't have allowed so much counterplay, but after king d2, everything is completely fine. And yeah, I mean, Hikaru is forced to resign here because after